We got one busy weekend in Philadelphia sports. We got Eagles, Broncos on Sunday. We got game one, NLDS, Phillies, Dodgers on Saturday. Both games down at South Philly. Who wins these games? How and why? Final preview and prediction for both. Plus, who knows what else will come up in the chat. We're live in 60 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM, right here on the STT Sports Network. We're live, YouTube and Twitter. You know the drill. Wherever you are watching, hit that like button, hit that share button, and hit the subscribe button on the STT Sports Network YouTube page, sitting at 725 subscribers this morning, setting the trends for what sports talk should be in Philadelphia. The YouTube channel is also the only place you can vote on the poll question of the day. So if you're watching on Twitter, head on over there to at least get a vote in with both the Phillies and Eagles this weekend. Will they both win? Yes. Just the Phillies, just the Eagles, neither. That's your poll question of the day, so head on over there to get your vote in. And yes, we've got a jam-packed weekend, which means we've got a lot of things, a lot of games, a lot of X's and O's to break down. So make sure first, before we start talking about it, you hit all those buttons. It's free. It is literally free to support a local content creator, guys. Good morning, Adam. How you doing today? 28-20 Eagles win. Phillies win 6-4. That is Adam's predictions. I don't hate that Eagles score at all. I think it's very possible. And I don't hate that Phillies score either. I think you got some pretty good predictions right there on the table to kick the show off. Good morning, Lil G. Hope you're doing well. So we got lots to get into here, and I'm personally struggling to come up with predictions for these two games. I don't want to sound like the homer. I don't want to sound negative. I don't want to sound too positive. I want to try to think of these games down the middle and try to think about how these games are really, truly going to play out. Marshawn, I don't know. Slow start to the Friday morning. Oh, well, you can say something. Eagles, Phillies, how are we going to line that shit up and knock it down? And how am I going to predict it and how am I going to talk about it with not sounding too homerish? Because I do know the Broncos pose a huge threat to the Eagles. The Broncos are actually a very good football team. The Dodgers are a damn good baseball team. This is one of those weeks that anything can happen. If the Phillies don't play 9 innings, if the Eagles don't play a full 60 minutes, if either team takes a second off, loses focus for a minute, both games could have ugly endings for the Philadelphia sports fans and the teams. Yeah, we're playing nice today in the chat. No meanness in the chat today. This defense turned quarterbacks over. Look, I think that is a big thing right there. Obviously, Bo Nix does create or make turnovers as well. They do make. I think this Broncos game, Marshawn, is a huge, look past game for the Broncos. The Broncos are 2-2. They've had 2 home wins, 2 road losses, 2 home wins against bad teams, 2 road losses against good teams. But the Denver Broncos' next 3 games, first of all, how they have 3 straight home games after this, and we have no back-to-back home games is beyond me. The Broncos have 3 straight home games after this. And not only have they 3 straight home games, they're the Jets, the Giants, and the Cowboys. So the Broncos could be like, all right, you know what? We can coast into Philly, take it easy, because if we fall to 2-3, we'll be 5-3 in a moment's notice. It's an easy look beyond game for the Broncos. Broncos ain't lined up against Coop and Q and Jihaad and Bond. Yeah, I mean, you look at the Broncos wins versus the Broncos losses, and it definitely favors the Eagles quite a bit. They have a super talented team. They got the best defensive line in football, arguably the best cornerback in football. So our offense is going to struggle to move the ball potentially if they're not on their game this week. But the Eagles are a more talented team overall. This could be a statement game, the game where the offense stabilizes and develops an identity, or a loss that derails this train and makes them readjust. 24-14 Broncos, unfortunately. That's it. See, this is the thing. I'm trying. Like, I get what you're saying, Peanut, and I feel this way. Not the score. But this is a game that they could break loose in, or this is a game that can derail the 4-0 start. Now, I don't think that the offense will find its identity, win or loss this week. The Broncos' defense is too good. The Eagles' offensive line is too banged up and playing too poorly. And the offense just isn't humming along. If the Eagles win this game, it is going to be, what did A.J. Brown say in his little presser the other day? Low-key, special teams and D are carrying us. Got to be better. The special teams and defense are going to have to carry the Eagles again for them to win this week. Line that shit up. Always line that shit up. Last time we played the Broncos, Jalen threw a touchdown to Smitty or on Surtain. It was, 2021 the last time we played the Broncos? I don't think there's too much to compare. Whereas the last 4 games were against teams that we play very frequently. The last time we played the Broncos, I'm pretty sure Vic Fangio was still their head coach. So, yeah. And Patrick Surtain will be on A.J. Brown. I read a stat yesterday that Patrick Surtain shadows number 1 wide receivers more than any cornerback in the NFL in the last, I think it was 3 years. And A.J. Brown's our number 1. So Smitty might actually have his get-going game. This might be a game for a Jihaad Dotson big play and whatnot. I think Denver's a good team, but I'm not worried them versus the Eagles. I'm not worried about them and the Eagles in this specific situation, I think. I think in this situation, the Eagles are more than capable of not even playing a perfect game and still finding a way to win. Only statement the Eagles are concerned about is Super Bowl wins. Absolutely. You lose a game, whatever. I talked about it yesterday, Marshawn, that I would almost lessen our chance to win this game by sitting guys like Landon Dickerson to get them healthy, because the Super Bowl is all that matters. Red Sox embarrassed. Didn't see much of that. I saw the Padres after they lost. Got pretty fired up at the umpires. Mac Jones renaissance. Nobody had the 49ers. I think I read over 90% of the bets on the game last night were on the Rams. So the sports books definitely won last night. I did see Mac Jones run a variation of the tush push, and the NFL praising it because it wasn't an Eagles tush push, obviously. Doesn't matter if it was 2021. Winers fans still remember what they did to us 3 years ago. Cowboys fans still read. That's true. That's true. Very true. But anyway, this is one of those games, though, where all week, all I've talked about and thought about is how talented this Broncos team is. But yet I still sit here and say, we're more talented. We're more of a team. Our quarterback's better than their quarterback. And the more I get closer to kickoff, the more I think that even a less than perfect game can win it. Because when you really start diving deep into the wins and losses of a team, you start to learn a little bit about how and why they got to their 2-2 start. I mean, their 2 wins. They beat the Titans when Cam Ward was making his NFL debut. Is that something really special? No. They beat the Broncos last week. Yeah, or the Bengals last week. They put up over 500 yards of offense, but it was a Joe Burrow-less Bengals team and a defense that's never been good. So you really got to look at that. You look at the Broncos defense and how great they are. Well, they beat Cam Ward and they beat Jake Browning. We got to look at they gave up a boatload of points to Indiana Jones. So you really got to look at those details there. Imagine if the Winers actually drafted Mac Jones as intended. Was that intended? Was that supposed to be that way? Do you have a quarterback controversy in San Francisco? I don't know. 4-1 49ers. Mac Jones led another victory. I mean, there was nobody. Like I said, I saw a post from, I don't know if it was FanDuel or DraftKings social media account saying that I think it was like 91% of the bets were on the Rams to win or cover last night. And that last night's football game is what sports books dream about. Days where they take all the money from the bettors. 49ers didn't do it every play. The Eagles didn't do it once last week. Vic was the coach back in 21 when we last played them. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's some side stories. Vic Fangio, going up against his last place, he was a head coach. I mean, there's a side story there. Former Eagles linebacker Alex Singleton leads the team in tackles. Alex Singleton always had a lot of fans in Philadelphia. More fans than I'm sure. Not sure why. There's that story going up against his former team. Little side stories like that. Surtain's got his eye on Quinion Mitchell. This should be an NLDS for the ages. All four teams are contenders. Cubs versus Brewers. I like how the Cubs versus the Brewers is a division game in the NLDS, actually. I don't know if it's for the ages. Well, maybe each series individually will be a series for the ages. But I think whoever wins the Phillies-Dodgers series is the team that's rep. I think the Phillies or the Dodgers will beat the Brewers or the Cubs without a doubt. And, advance to the World Series and probably win the World Series. I said it yesterday. I think the winner of the series wins the World Series. And while I like the odds of the Phillies winning game one, Christopher Sanchez, Shohei Ohtani, I'm not as overly confident as ever. Can the Phillies win the series? Sure can. But this is going to be a massive test for this Phillies team. And I don't see a 3-game sweep. I barely see a 4-game series win. Very likely this series could go the full 5. Very likely. And luckily we have the home field advantage, and they'll have to play here game 5. But this is going to be a long, knockdown, drag-it-out battle series, in my opinion. With even in a best of 5, the swings that are going to happen in this series, even in each game, mega. We talked about a 2-2 team, 44-6 roll job. Well, I don't know about that. I'm not ready to put the offense there. I still don't understand how the offense is going to move the ball when your offensive coordinator isn't calling great plays, but also your offensive line can't block. What's up, Bruce? Good morning to you. Nix is good, but very limited skill set. He should be named wild card. I am a Bo Nix supporter. I am. Sports books don't dream about games like last night. They make sure last night's results happen as intended. Absolutely, that's true. It's a good way to phrase it right there, Marshawn. Absolutely. They had instant replay in baseball. They've always had instant replay in baseball. Well, not always, but for a while. Who knows? Who knows the answer to that? We talking about a 2-2 team, boss. We rolling on these boys. Why? What? I want to know why you're so confident. Because I see an Eagles team that hasn't played a full 60 minutes yet. Now, I do have a prediction, and I am predicting an Eagles win. The line has gone from 5.5 to 3.5. It's come down. The over-under has come down in this game. I don't predict no blowout in this situation. At least we don't have to see Manny Machado taking selfies in the dugout. Manny Machado. Who won there? The Padres signing Manny Machado or the Phillies signing Bryce Harper? Neither team's won a World Series, so to speak. Their stats are almost equal. Both teams have made the playoffs. Well, I think the Padres have almost made it every year. The Phillies have made it. Well, they made it the last 4. It's an interesting question. Who won that free agency? What's up, Bird Gang? How you doing this morning? Hope you are well. Are these $200 million contracts in baseball guaranteed? Yes. Baseball contracts, man, Chatter, are 100% guaranteed. Some of them, like the Juan Soto or the Shohei Ohtani one, have like deferred payments. So sometimes a 10-year contract is paid out over 20 years or something like that. I think Shohei Ohtani's 750 was being paid over 25 years. But yes, they are 100% fully guaranteed. You cut the guy, you got to pay it. We will. You should have put will in cap letters, Bird Gang. We will beat the Broncos. Emphasize the will there. We've got a poll question, Bird Gang, on the YouTube page. Will both the Phillies and Eagles win this weekend? Right now, we got 70% say yes, both win. 20% say just the Phillies win. 10% say just the Eagles win. No one has voted neither will win the game. Just so you know where the poll is. Phil, I have my prediction for the game, and I feel Eagles will win 28-17 as long as Patullo lets Hurt be the number one quarterback he can be. That's similar to the prediction that Adam made recently. I get it. I got a closer prediction for later in the show. But what I'm going to say is I think that if the Eagles win by 8, 10, 12, it's going to be because they get a late touchdown to push the lead up. I think it's going to be a close game through 3.5 quarters. And then somebody's going to have to make a big play late in the game for the Eagles, offensively or defensively. I'm just confident ESPN hired more haters than the Bussin' podcast to say the Eagles will be exposed week after week. Yeah. And they have been exposed week after week, Marshawn. But still they won, despite being exposed. I can't remember, but was it a possibility Phillies were going to sign Harper and Machado? I think, how do I say this? I think the media, go figure, the media stirring the pot. I think the media made it sound like they were going to sign potentially both, but I don't think the Phillies ever were truly contending to sign both. Once the door did not unlock for Manny Machado, I knew they were signing Bryce Harper. I still remember where I was when the news dropped and broke. But I don't think they really truly considered giving out $200-300 million contracts at that point. True, you got to have emphasis on the will right there. I feel Machado is also a superstar, but I feel Bryce is better and also learned not to make fun of the opposition when he took off from the Mets. Yeah, I think Harper fits better in Philadelphia personality-wise. I think Harper's a better leader than Machado is, but that's not taken away. Machado is a great baseball player. Absolutely. I just think he wouldn't have fit in the Philadelphia culture as well as Bryce Harper. Good hair, brother. Stiefel had his 49ers only one game back. He's probably a fan of the 49ers again this year. Phil, you're right, and it will be a close. It could be a close game that turns into a big score late that makes it seem like it wasn't for those that don't watch the game, Bruce. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, I have like my normal 4 predictions down. 3 of them are close games. One's a blowout. Speaking of contracts, I would love to have Bobby Bonilla contract site right now. Who wouldn't want? I would love to be getting $1 million check once a year for 30 years. I wouldn't be doing this, I'll tell you that, Adam. I really think the Eagles run away this game. This defense is good, but who did they really play? And that's what I opened up with, Big Al. This defense that leads the league in NFL in sacks, quarterback pressures, quarterback hits, defensive player of the year on the outside. Have they really been tested in a win? The times they've been tested, they've lost. It was the Colts and the Chargers. The Colts with Indiana Jones. The Chargers, who just lost to the Giants, were one of their wins. You got to look at who teams beat as well. I mean, the Colts are a good team, and they're a great story. The Chargers just lost to Jackson Dart, and that was one of the Broncos' big wins. And it wasn't even one of their losses. It wasn't even, it was a 20-13 game. They put up 13 points of offense against the Chargers. Machado is too lazy for the Philly culture. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree with that. Lazy, not engaging the fans. He's perfect for was San Diego. It's still the San Diego Padres. The Chargers are not in San Diego. It's perfect for that San Diego laid back, vibe. I've been to San Diego. It's a freaking beautiful city. Right on the water, beautiful weather. Beautiful. Yeah, think about it this way, man, Chatter. The Broncos lead the league in sacks with 15 sacks. Their leading sacker, Bonita, has 4.5 sacks. The Eagles as a team only have 5 sacks. And I don't know who's going to be on the outside trying to get to Bo Nix. You've got to get pressure on Bo Nix because Bo Nix turns the ball over. He will throw interceptions. He doesn't have an A.J. Brown. He's got 3 really solid wide receivers, but no superstar wide receiver. So easy to spread the ball around. But if you get pressure on him, you can easily force him to throw an interception. And that's what you got to hope. But who's going to be that guy? Will they finally, the Eagles, dress Azeez Ojulari? Can this be Ojulari's moment to break out? I'm sure he's been frustrated not being active on game days this year. I think he was like one of our highest paid free agent signings this offseason. And he has not dressed yet. I predicted Ojulari was a sleeper to get 8 or 9 sacks this year. And he hasn't played yet. Despite Nolan Smith being injured, despite Jalen Hunt not taking that next step. Uche being okay. The defense not being able to, the edges not being able to stop the run very well. What are the Eagles going to do? What's Vic Fangio going to do differently to get after the quarterback? Eagles are, I already put that up. Sorry. What's up, Mitchie Pooh? Good morning to you. Greetings and salutations. Go Jets this week. Who are the Jets playing this week? Dallas. Yes, go Jets. Go Jets. You're saying morning twice? Good for you. Mr. O'Rourke, 13 under. That's right. Guys, just so you know, there will be no show on Monday morning. Unfortunately, Brian and I are going to win our first scramble ever at Downingtown Country Club. We're going to rock it. We're gonna light the world on fire, Brian, on Monday. It's going to be a beautiful day, too, on Monday, weather-wise. We're going to be celebrating an Eagles and Phillies victory. And we're going to be winning the golf outing. Cold front game Sunday. Who's got a cold front? We don't have a cold front. Phil, I feel we will beat the Dodgers, but I feel it's unfair that we have to play them and not the Brewers, as the Brewers are not as good as the Dodgers. Well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you there, Bruce. That's just the way it goes, right? The seedings and the rankings are the way they are. The Brewers had the best record in baseball, so I think you might be downplaying the Brewers just a little bit there. I do think the Dodgers are better, but record-wise does matter. You want to play the Cubs? Well, the Phillies should have won the number 1 seat. And then the Brewers could be playing the Dodgers this week instead. I do think the Phillies can win this series. Not just the game, but the entire series. But I really, truly have this game, or this series with the Phillies and the Dodgers, going the full 5 games. And then it's going to be, what's my question? I can't predict how game 5 will go. But we know it's going to be Christopher Sanchez, Ranger Suarez, Jesus Luzardo. Do they go back to Sanchez game 4 and Ranger game 5? Or are they going to give Aaronola a shot in game 4 or 5? I'm really curious, and that's why I can't really put my finger on the pulse of this series. Bills, Patriots, cold front series jersey. Oh, that's what you're talking. I personally don't like the Bills all-white jerseys. I saw somebody on social media do something like that for the Eagles. Thought they looked bugly. Not a fan of those jerseys. So when you play golf on Monday, I feel you'll be celebrating the Eagles win and the Phillies too. Let's go. Awesome. I love it, Bruce. I hope so too. What's up, Duck? How you doing? Better late than ever. All right. Nooms is late too, but good to see you guys back. This will be an awesome series. Good content. Go Phillies. 100%. Brewers, Phillies, National League Championship. Rhys Hoskins back in Philly. And instead of him hitting a big home run, he gets struck out in a big moment. How about that, Adam? Is Rhys Hoskins even playing? I know he was hurt the last time we played them. What's the move if there are 0 playoff wins for the Phillies? Like, not win a single game, they get swept by the Dodgers, Nooms? If the Phillies get swept by the Dodgers, Rob Thompson will 100% be fired. Well, he won't actually be fired. He'll be let to retire gracefully for all the great work he's done for the Phillies. So you'll be starting with a complete, overhaul of the coaching staff. I feel the only way we can lose to the Dodgers if Rob messes up again. It's funny. We get one question. I answer with Rob. Then you get a comment about Rob. Yes, that is exactly correct. I agree with you. Bills jerseys are 90s red and blue. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think I had at least one Bills jersey that I remember. You got to understand something, man, Chatter. You've become an Eagles fan because of this community I've built. But I was a Bills fan probably before you were born. The Bills were always my number 2 team. Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, Bruce Smith, James Lofton, Don Beebe. I loved the Bills back in the late 80s, early 90s. I really dislike the blue of Broncos helmet. I'm a big blue guy. I love all shades of blue. It's my favorite color. Let's go. Because I was a Bills fan. Look, I have nothing against the Bills. Never did, never will. The only time I can't root for the Bills is if it's affecting the Eagles in any way as an opponent or their future opponents. That's it. But I am a Bills guy. And it really goes down to, the fact that they played all our division rivals in back-to-back-to-back Super Bowls, and I felt so bad that they never won one of those games. I have a Dykstra gray road jersey from 91. Wow. I don't even remember what my first jersey was. I'm really not sure what my first jersey was. I like the old Broncos logo on the helmet. It's okay. Hoskins just came back from a finger sprain. Okay, so he is back. Gotcha. And they probably should lean on Hoskins because he does have a lot of playoff experience in Philadelphia anyway, at least. Look, it is going to be an exciting weekend. Hell, it's going to be an exciting month. Just look at a calendar of all the Phillies, Eagles, potential Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, Flyers games. There's going to be days where we have 3 games on the same day, potentially in the coming month. It's an exciting time. It's also a stressful time. They didn't bring back the current writing until 93. Yeah, that's about right. That sounds about right. It is really destiny that Eagles will defeat Bills in Super Bowl and the circle will be complete. I mean, I've been thinking about this, man, Chatter, for a long, long time. That there's 3 out of the 4 division rivals of ours have beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. The Eagles just have not. And the funny thing is, at that time, the Eagles had the best defense in football when the Bills were losing all those Super Bowls. So in theory, the Eagles should have had an opportunity to beat them, okay? And they just never could seal the deal. Now, we do have that opportunity, but the Bills can't get there. 3 games at one time. Oh, I don't know if they're all at the same time in Philly, but there's 3 games a day, multiple times in the month of October scheduled. We have a shot at 4 games in one day if we make the World Series. I saw the schedule. I posted the schedule. Give me a second to pull it up. Let me find this potential schedule. I don't see 4 in one day. I see 3 on the 25th, the 28th, and that's it. I see and 3 on the 9th. They're the games. I'm looking at the potential calendar right now for Philadelphia. Today's the only day with no content, as not even college games are any good. They is smooth sailing content every day. Yeah, we had that one time, but one was a preseason game. 4 games at one time, man. That's I still don't understand how you cannot fix the traffic around that stadium. There's got to be a smart engineer somewhere that can redesign the roadways and the entrances and exits of those stadiums. It drives me nuts. Phil, you have a Philly bar. You ever watch Phillies games for the vibes? I used to when I was younger. My buddy, Ace, rest in peace, my man, passed away earlier this year. He owned a fantastic sports bar called Throwbacks in Hookhesson, Delaware. Why'd you even ask that question? Now I'm thinking of Ace. I was going through deleting old text message. I saw my last text message to him at the bottom of my phone last night, and damn. Anyway, so that. Occasionally, I would go to bars to watch games. Back in the day when Firewater still existed. Some of you might know that one. But for the most part, nowadays, I prefer to watch the games at home. It's all good. It's okay. I prefer to watch games at home on my TV, cheaper way. Phil, I went to the Phillies intra-squad game, only $10. Yeah, that's awesome. My man Jim Archidegano, my realtor friend, he was there as well. He he shared a video, and he was bragging last night that Dejean shared his video that he shared. So that was pretty cool. But you can't believe 31. Anybody that doubts Philadelphia sports fans, 31,000 fans showed up to a baseball scrimmage when other playoff baseball games weren't even getting 30. Just think about that, Dad Ship. Just think about that. What's up, K1? Yeah, we started at 725. We're still at 725. Guys, like, share, subscribe. Vote on the poll question. Yeah, Throwbacks was great. I haven't been to Throwbacks since Ace passed away. I just can't. I can't step back in there right now. Passed away a week and a half before the Super Bowl earlier this year. I was planning his Super Bowl party for him when that all happened. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, vote on the poll. Probably only got 9 or 10 likes on the video so far. So guys, keep hitting the buttons. It's very important. Favorite things when in Philly is downtown bars, seeing sports. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it when I was younger. I'm just an old head now. What do you call me? I'm old, man. I prefer to be in calmer environments nowadays. I mean, when the Phillies won the World Series in 2008, I was at a bar crying when they won that World Series. But now I'm older now. I much rather the calm environment in my home, on my couch with my 70-inch TV. You know, I just prefer that now. But when I was younger, absolutely enjoyed it. Absolutely enjoyed bigger parties and environments. It's just not my vibe anymore. All right, back to it here. We talked a lot this week. Hold on, what's this? I built my own I built my basement out of these moments with my friends and family. Dude, in this new house I've got last year at Big House, I got a huge bar built into the basement from the previous owner. And I've done nothing. It is just completely empty in that corner of the house. I just don't even use it. But I should. Young Bucks probably like big TV too nowadays. Yeah, probably. All week we've talked about this Eagles offensive line, how banged up they are. They're playing hurt, and they're struggling to move the ball because guys like Landon Dickerson and Cam Jurgens just can't be 100%. But then I was thinking yesterday as I was going over the practice report again, and Dallas Goedert was back at practice. Grant Calcaterra was the only one that missed practice with an illness. We make such a big deal that these guys are injured, and I've said it all week. Maybe they should sit Landon Dickerson for a week or two to get him healthy. But they're not even managing his practice minutes. He is still out there as a full participant in practice every week. Lane Johnson's been limited all this week with his injuries, right? Jalen Carter's been limited this week. But Landon Dickerson is still a full go every practice. So are we just making an excuse for Landon Dickerson? Is Landon Dickerson not as banged up as we think, and he's just not executing? Are we making built-in excuses for a guy instead of criticizing his poor performance? Last World Series game for me was 2008 Game 3. What do you mean? The last one you went to? Dang, hang a TV and a few speakers, get some old glass mugs. Dude, it's a full bar. It's got a well in the background there. It's got running water. It's got it all. I just don't use it. I don't invite people over either. We don't have that many friends. You guys are my friends. The Core 12 is my friends. That's who I consider my friends. The Core 12. Always. Just doing a quick reset over here on the other screen. Reminds me, I say next week, Eagles versus Giants. I was like, let's go. Eagles, Giants, that's a Thursday night football game next week. I hate Thursday night football, by the way. You guys will hear me complain all week about how much I hate Thursday night football. A, Thursday's not enough time to recover from a Sunday game. B, normally they're bad games. C, who wants to stay up on a Thursday night till 11 o'clock at night or later? Just because a guy can practice doesn't mean he's 100%. I know. And that's what I'm throwing that out there as an idea. This Eagles team, though, K1, has been very conservative in the Nick Sirianni era with practices in season, right? They always give these guys, schedule. We always joke about the scheduled rest days for like a Joel Embiid in the season for games. Well, they always give scheduled days of rest in the week for practices for the Eagles. But yet they're not with Landon Dickerson. No, you rarely see Landon Dickerson bend at the waist when blocking. I agree. But wouldn't you think that he'd at least on Wednesdays or Thursdays be a limited participant, do some individualized drills and stretching and just take it easy so you can get more work for a Brett Toth or something like that with the ones? Maybe. It's just something that's been going through my head. Why aren't they being conservative with him? Where are invites to Casa de Phil then? I don't know. Because then I'd have to actually like clean and stuff like that. That knee is still gathering strength. So why isn't he doing things to gather strength versus practicing on Wednesday or Thursday every week? How many of the core 12 have you met so far besides me? Big Al I've met in person. Pretty much just Big Al. Well, Jason, but he's not really a core 12. He's a co-host of mine. Met him in person. I met Steven Fuentes in person. Who else have I met? I think that's about it. I love it. It guarantees I will have Eagles in Buffalo TV. Gotcha. For Thursday Night Football. I don't like late games. I was right. I don't even remember when I said No, I was talking about an era of something, not an error of something, wasn't I? I don't know. My error is talking about errors, okay? We'll just leave it at that right there. Flexibility takes a bit to return from that surgery. Absolutely. Again. But my question is, why is he a full go at every practice? Why is he not on the injury report week to week? Are we making too big of a deal out of it? I don't think we are. If anything, I'm more shocked or concerned that the Eagles aren't doing more to get him right. Hence why I've brought up multiple times this week, Nooms, giving Landon Dickerson a couple weeks off. What's more important, having Landon Dickerson out there this week against the Broncos, or having Landon Dickerson out there against the Broncos at 65, 70%, or having Landon Dickerson out there in the Super Bowl against the Bills at 85%? What's more important? Are you going to get to the Super Bowl with Landon Dickerson at 65%? Or if you let him take a couple days off, a couple weeks off, and get him to 80, are you better situated to get back to the Super Bowl? It's called working hardening. Get him used to the field environment. Maybe it is. It's just something that I went from thinking one angle all week long to another angle last night, and now I'm not sure of the thought process that the Eagles are going through. Possible he was told he couldn't damage anything anymore, and that is all he needed to hear. Sometimes you've got to protect the players from themselves. Hey, Landon, you can't get any more hurt. Okay, I'm going to play, but we're going to rest you so you can get healthier. He might not be able to do any more damage, but he can't get healthier if he keeps going. Sometimes you got to protect players. 70% of Landon is preferable to 100% of Brett Toth. Right. I don't disagree, K1, with this at all. Okay? But 70% of Landon with sitting 70% of Landon by using 100% of Brett Toth for 2 weeks, so that in 2 weeks we get 85% Landon for the rest of the year. Do you take that chance to have a 15% better Landon the rest of the year? The dude has paid. The dude's a warrior. I'm not doubting Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, all three of those guys. I mean, well, all the offensive line is. But those guys right now, because of what they're battling through, complete and total warriors. Okay? I would go into battle with any of them. Any given day. He may rust very quickly. Maybe that's part of it. If he sits too long, it might get harder to get loose every day. So maybe by him practicing every day and playing every day is making him better. What is Dallas Goedert's situation? He practiced yesterday, so he should be good to go, as I expected. Dallas Goedert was just in the why isn't Landon Dickerson trained? He was just getting a maintenance day on Wednesday. That's why he didn't practice. You see that from the Eagles regularly throughout a season over the last couple of years. If guys are banged up, they don't practice all 3 days. They get one of those practice days off. They go through the quote-unquote mental reps. And that's why Dallas Goedert didn't practice on Wednesday. Now, his backup, Grant Calcaterra, didn't practice yesterday because of an illness. Well, hopefully that illness lasts through Sunday because we don't want Grant Calcaterra out there anyway. Veterans get days off. They get veteran days off or get days off because they need to, once you get to a certain amount of years in the NFL, you need extra breaks. It takes a little longer to get back to strength. Some say Becton's loss hurt. That's BS. Steen is playing the best interior O-line right now. I'm gonna say this. Steen has played good. Okay. I have rarely heard Steen's name on my TV, which is a good thing, right? He's playing better than Landon right now. Landon's still the better guard, but Steen's playing better right now. Where the Becton loss hurts, right, comes in with the Landon Dickerson injury, comes into play with the Lane Johnson injuries, because you hurt the depth. Having Tyler Steen as your sixth offensive lineman, having 6 starters for your offensive line so that one goes down, you can plug and play, versus you lose Becton, Steen has to start, and your depth behind your starting 5 is much weaker, all right? And I think Howie kind of misjudged the draft a little bit. There were a couple high-end first, second, third round offensive linemen. He won it. They didn't fall to him where he expected them to fall. I think he thought he wouldn't have Toth, Pryor, and Fred Johnson as his first 3 guys up off the bench. I think he thought he would have better options. So I misread the room a little bit there on the draft. But you went from having 6 starting offensive linemen to 5. And that changes everything. So that's where I think when people say the Becton loss hurt, I don't think they're thinking the way I am. But that's why I think the Mekhi Becton, injury or free agency loss hurt us. Because it just weakened our depth. Because our number 1 depth option, Tyler Steen, has to start. And he's doing fine. It's just a simple thing that, you could put Steen at left guard, right guard. I think Steen even played a little right tackle last year at a point. Or maybe they put Becton at right tackle when Lane Johnson missed a few drives or half a game and put Steen at right guard. I don't know. But you lose that flexibility there. They didn't have the dollars, period. I mean, they did actually. Because Becton, like Isaiah Rodgers, didn't sign some monster contract. The Eagles could have very easily retained either Isaiah Rodgers as their cornerback 2 or Mekhi Becton as their right guard. They very well could have done either of those things, in my opinion. Hell, in theory, you probably could have done both if you tweaked something else somewhere else. You could have gotten rid of Dallas Goedert and kept both, probably. Based on both of them are combined making $17 million this year. Dallas Goedert's making 10 or 11. You could have gotten rid of somebody else somewhere else. You could have probably made it work. The market wasn't set yet. And Howie misread the market on those guys. Howie rarely makes mistakes, but he did misread the market. Here's a question. Speaking of misreading the market and Isaiah Rodgers, Keely Ringo performed solid last week in his first start at outside corner, right? Vic Fangio said that Keely Ringo did good, but how he follows it up and grows will be the big determining factor, right? Adoree Jackson was back at practice this week full. Does Vic trust Keely Ringo enough to leave him in there, even with Adoree Jackson healthy enough to play? Now, they haven't said he's going to play Adoree Jackson, but being a limited participant on Wednesday, being a full participant on Thursday, does Adoree Jackson getting healthy, does Vic Fangio go back, or does he stick with the young kid? I think he should stick with the young kid. I think he should give 2 or 3 weeks to Keely Ringo to see what he can do so that when we get closer to the trade deadline, we know whether we need to add a cornerback or not. We'll see. Phil critiquing how he's cap management. I don't know if I'm critiquing his cap management. I think I'm critiquing his game plan on what he thought was going to happen everywhere else in the NFL and how that would affect what he had to do. I think he misread a couple players' contracts. I think he misread a couple people's draft value across the league. That's it. Ringo was barely targeted and was given an assload of help. He was. Gave up one catch, though, right? Where was my notes? I had them written down somewhere on here over the last couple days. I think he was targeted 3 times. Maybe it was just 3 times. I don't even know. There it is. 1 catch for 8 yards, 3 targets last week. He was so locked down, you couldn't even target. They had to target Quinion and Cooper because Ringo was in lockdown mode so much. I'm in jest. Ringo was solid against a decent team. I think they leave him in because healthy Jackson seems equal to Ringo anyway. Yes. And the Broncos, this is not a knock on the Broncos. They have good wide receivers. They don't have any star receivers. They got, I got to pull up their whole roster. I forget all their wide receivers. I don't want to say the wrong one here. Give me a second. Stats, wide receivers. Yeah, obviously Courtland Sutton, Marvin Mims. Tony Franklin's the other guy. So you got Franklin, Mims, and Sutton. They're your top 3 wide receivers. Evan Ingram's their tight end. So they don't really have a whole lot to fear. The Eagles in that secondary. I'm shocked that Rodgers or his agent didn't come back to us with the number to match or exceed. Well, didn't they already move on? I think no. Rodgers was signed very quickly and very early, right? It was Slay that was out there for a long time. I forget how it all played out, but no, Becton was out there for a very long time. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked too. Rodgers wanted a guarantee at starting, or as close to a guarantee at starting. I don't think it was the dollars for Isaiah Rodgers. The Eagles were going into the offseason thinking that Keely Ringo was going to be the guy. They brought in Adoree Jackson as an afterthought to push Keely Ringo to be better, right? So Isaiah Rodgers didn't want to have to battle Keely Ringo for that job. The Bucks all 22s were ripping the F out of Mayfield for it too. Yeah, I mean, how do you target Quinion and Cooper 9 times and Keely Ringo 3 times? Like, how do you do that? Like, that's a big miss from the Buccaneers. I'm worried about Troy Franklin. Troy Franklin this year, he's got 18 catches on 27 targets, 197 yards, 1 touchdown. He average of 10.9 yards per catch. He's got a 42-yard catch this year. He's a good young wide receiver. I'm not sure if I would say I'm worried about him. I think he's still like the president of the Broncos. I don't think he's the shot caller anymore in like drafts and free agency, but I think John Elway still has a pretty big role in the Broncos organization. Unless he's taken a year off. I don't know if you guys heard the John Elway story from the summer. He was playing golf, and one of his best friends was in the golf cart with him, and they hit a bump, and his buddy fell out of the golf cart. His buddy passed away on the golf cart, on the ground, hit his head or something like that. Really sad. I know John Elway was really broken up about that. Q will take care of Courtland Sutton. I was reading a stat about the last couple of years and the percentages of wide receivers, number 1 wide receivers, that get the top cornerback to roam around with them. And Patrick Surtain over the last couple of years is head and shoulders shadowing the top wide receiver more than anybody else. But Q, in a year and a half, has gotten to number 2 of most likely to shadow a top wide receiver in football over all the other cornerbacks that are out there. Victor didn't put him in much, man, at all. Thank God for that. Look, that's the sign of a good coordinator, right? We're going to use Keely Ringo. We're not going to take a square peg and shove it in a round hole. I don't think you can criticize Ringo's performance because he was given help or he was put into position to succeed. You want your manager to put you in a success. If I tell you to go make pizza and I don't give you the dough, you're going to fail at your job. If I give you all the dough you need, all the sauce, all the cheese, you're going to succeed. If I tell you to make 100 pizzas with no help, that's on me. But if you got 100 pizzas to make and I give you some help, I'm putting you in a position to succeed. All Vic Fangio did was put Keely Ringo in a position to succeed. And he did succeed. That's all on that. How do we get on Keely Ringo? I think I actually brought up Keely Ringo. But anyway, I think they're going to continue to roll with Keely Ringo. At least this week and maybe even next week against the Giants. And as long as he performs, the Eagles want Keely Ringo to succeed. They want Keely Ringo to be the second cornerback, the cheap cornerback option there. They never wanted Adoree Jackson be the starter. So they were kind of forced to put him out there with the injury. And now that he's performed serviceably, they're going to continue to keep developing. Remember, he's still just 23 years old. He's in his third year and only 23 years old. So remember that. There is still much, much room potentially for the guy to grow as a football player. Will he? We'll see. But they're going to give him every opportunity over the next couple of weeks to do that. We'll see. Anyway, we can also bring it back to the Phillies a little bit. Hell, if you want, I know nothing about it, but on Saturday, there's another big game. Not just the Phillies on Saturday, but the Union on Saturday in Philadelphia, well, Chester, have a chance to clinch the Supporters' Shield. So let's give some love to the Union. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know what the Supporters' Shield is, but it's a big game. I know the Union are pushing close to the playoffs here as well. So yes, ring. So what you got to do, there's the bell that you got to ring right there. You got to hit that subscribe button, right? But the Phillies got to ring the bell as well. Contrast this with Juan Castillo putting Nnamdi Asomugha a zone corner and mostly man. Exactly. Is that what you want them to do with Keely Ringo? Do you want them to set him up to fail? That's just what you do. But anyway, back to the Phillies for a second, because I do want to talk about the Phillies a little bit as well. About 15 minutes, I'll give my NFL predictions. And then right after that, I'll give my Eagles prediction and Phillies prediction for this weekend. How critical is it for the Phillies to win game one? I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani. I know he's a really good pitcher. He's not going to go much more than 4 or 5 innings in the game. You get after the Dodgers bullpen. That's what the Phillies offense has done all year to all teams, get after their bullpen. And you have a chance to get to the Dodgers bullpen quicker with Ohtani on the mound. What's more important on Sunday? Christopher Sanchez standing up to the big moment. His first big game one start of his career. Set the tone for the series. Or is it more important for the Phillies offense to jump on Ohtani quick? Like, would you rather it be the 5th or 6th inning, we're into their bullpen already, and we're up 6-4? Sanchez pitched okay, but gave up some runs. Or do you want to see it's the 6th inning, Sanchez is wheeling and dealing, and we're only up 2-0 at that point? What's more critical for the success? I think if the Phillies can come out and put up 6 or 7 runs right from the get-go this week or on Saturday, it could set the tone for the rest of the series. I think Adam predicted 6-4 win. A 6-4 win might do more for this team's confidence going forward than a 2-0 or a 3-2 win. Bill Davis doing the same with Byron Maxwell. Byron Maxwell. I said it instantly. I didn't have social media or much social media, and I didn't do shows, but the day the Eagles signed Byron Maxwell, I looked around to whoever I was with. I forget who I was with at the moment. I said, I'm pretty sure Byron Maxwell is a system cornerback, and he's going to fail here. And everybody told me I was nuts. Noom spelled it out. Crucial. I think Christopher Sanchez will pitch okay. Phillies bullpen cannot crap the bed. The Phillies bullpen is going to be vital the entire run. Joe Duran, obviously settling down because he did get a little rough around the edges towards the end of the season, maybe from overusage. David Robertson started to leak some oil. You got Strahm, you got Banks, maybe occasionally Kirkgreen. The bullpen's obviously going to be critical. All aspects of a team are critical in the playoffs for baseball. But what's more important to get it going from the get-go? Sanchez has to be Hamels. Has to. A 2008 Hamels run from Christopher Sanchez would be fantastic. Fan-freaking-tastic. Game one win is crucial. Obviously is. That was the Chip Kelly Oregon Ducks days. Yeah, bad days. What's up, Steven Fuentes? I already shouted out the Supporters Shield about 3 or 4 minutes ago. You're telling me what is the same thing as the President's Trophy in the NHL. Team that finishes with the most points in the league. Gotcha. So they have a chance to get the most points in the league, which means then I guess the number 1 seed in the playoffs, Steven. Okay. Gotcha. I'm assuming the Union are definitely going to the playoffs this year. I know the Union have a very good team. I think they had a key player get hurt. Did I see that recently? Or I saw somebody from the MLS get hurt and ruled out for the year. Interesting. I might turn the Union on Sunday a little bit, or on Saturday a little bit. Sanchez has had that Hamels ability since about the Tigers series. Yeah. I've said since mid-season, Nooms, I've been saying nonstop that Christopher Sanchez is the best non-rookie contract value, dollar for dollar, pound for pound. Christopher Sanchez is the best value in all of Philadelphia sports. All of baseball, but all of Philadelphia sports. Not on a rookie contract. He's on a 4-year deal. He's making a couple $1 million. For as much as I criticize Dave Dombrowski, locking up Sanchez early was a huge win on his part. Tell you, if Christopher Sanchez was hitting free agency this offseason, the dude would be getting a $150 million contract. We got him on a 4-year, like $30 million deal. Ballparking that. Best value dollar for dollar in sports, not on a rookie contract, Christopher Sanchez. This pitcher at every of game being 2 Padres batters in a row, he got yanked. All I know about the Padres game is they were yelling with the umpires after the game. Offense needs to click and keep their foot on the gas. So you're saying it's more important that the offense clicks quicker than the bullpen or the starting pitching. A high-scoring victory might do more for this team's confidence than a low-scoring, and I think so. Because what has been one of the big reasons why we failed the last couple postseasons? Craig Kimbrell and the offense going cold at times. Having this offense humming and going along is big. Nola has to dial it back to at least 2022 if he starts. I asked that earlier in the show, News, before you were in the chat. If this goes 5 games, which I think this series goes 5 games. You got Sanchez, you get Suarez, you get Luzardo. 1, 2, 3, right? Do they go back to Sanchez game 2 or game 4? Do they go to Nola or Ranger Suarez in game 5? Will Aaron Nola have a chance to pitch in this series? He'll definitely pitch in the NLCS. Definitely, if they make it there. But will he have an opportunity to start in this series? I would actually, if this is, say it's 2-1, I would actually pitch him. If the Phillies were up 2-1, I'd pitch him in game 4. If the Phillies were up down 1-2, you go Sanchez, then you pitch Nola in game 5. And then if they win that, then you've got Ranger to start game 1 of the NLCS. Phil's Union knowledge is somewhat short of, dude, my Union knowledge, I try. I want to give him credit. I want to be known as a 5-for-5er. It's not easily accessible, the games, my man. Let's hope this upcoming short ages well. Which one? I know you glad the Tigers. Of course I'm glad. We still got a chance for a Phillies-Tigers World Series. Offense will allow pitching to relax. Truth. Great point right here, Big Al. Taking the pressure off the starters and the bullpen by scoring. Huge. Huge. Some of Phil's shorts are already legendary. Yeah, I missed out on a good one, but, it is what it is. Quinn Sullivan, ACL injury. The Union wins Saturday. They lock up the 1 seed overall, and the road to the MLS Cup will go through Chester, right? Chester. Oh, man. I wish they would just change their name to the Chester Union. Sounds like a cheap chicken store, right? A cheap fried chicken store known as Chester Union. At today's end of game, he being 2 batters, Cubs pitcher. Okay? Phillies versus Dodgers, the real World Series game. I don't think that's a question. I think that's an answer. The winner of the Cubs versus Brewers series and the winner from the American League side seems like easier teams to play against. I agree. Said that to kick off the show. This team really is almost impossible to predict. It really is. The Phillies are impossible to predict. What's up, Reality Check? Eagles, Broncos. We're almost here. Sunday is almost here. I'm going to have a lot of emotions rolling this weekend. Phillies game 1, Broncos, Eagles. It's just so much. October is such a great month for sports. 5-for-5, Phil. Hey, why not, K1? Why not? It's the top of the hour, guys. It's 9 a.m. How many likes are on this video? Probably not enough. But, guys, please hit that like button if you haven't. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell. Ring that bell. And share this out We're still at 725. Kind of hit a big boost last week and into early this week, last 24 hours. Kind of hit a snail's pace on the like or subscriber number. At 11 likes, not good enough. There are 16 votes on the poll, but only 11 likes, guys. Do that. Please hit those buttons. Can the Phillies play a hellish playing style against the Dodgers? Clutch hitting, run prevention, speed on the bases, fouling off pitches constantly. They can. Will they execute? I don't know. Then Dallas would be the Arlington Cowboys, and both New York teams would call themselves the Jersey. I think they should be the Jersey Jets and the Jersey Giants. And yes, the Arlington Cowboys. Absolutely. Chester Union sounds like a chicken place that can only be found in Walmart. There we go. It definitely sounds like a chicken place, right? It definitely sounds like a chicken place. I may have a better non-roomy contract than Sanchez. Give it to me. Phil, you have been on fire on subs. We have been. I was getting 8, 9 every day for like 7 days straight. Over 100. I think I looked at my analytics site yesterday. In the last 28 days, I think it was 108 new subscribers. That's beautiful. And I appreciate each and every one tuning in. I appreciate everybody sharing, commenting on the shorts, doing all that they do. But then we kind of the last 2 days, I've gained like 4 in the last 2 days. It's like boom, boom, boom. Oh, hit that brick wall. And I knew it was going to bottom out for a few. I knew that. But I didn't want to see it. It sounds like a credit union. Chester Union? Yeah, it does. It does. Countdown to the predictions. All right. You know what? You want predictions? We'll start going through some of the Sunday games as we continue to talk Eagles, continue to talk Phillies. We'll start firing through some of these Sunday football games in London. You got the Vikings who have been over there for now 2 weeks versus the Browns. Browns are listed as the home team. Browns are 3.5-point dogs. Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. We're going to Vikings. Carson Wentz gets his first win as a starter in I don't know how long. Go Carson Wentz right there in that 9 o'clock game over in London. Then you got Raiders at Colts. Colts are 6.5-point favorites. Indiana Jones gets another win. Colts cover 6.5. Then you got Giants at Saints. Jackson Dart, can he start 2-0 in his career? Giants are 1.5-point dogs. Giants win outright over the Saints because the Saints might not win a football game this year. They're my first few predictions there. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I need to sprint through the marathon. Jason Richard Howard Gowan Worth 7. I said right now in sports. That was 15 years ago. I said right now in sports, Christopher Sanchez is the best value, okay? Didn't say of all time. I said right now. Vikings, absolutely. I think the Vikings win easily there. Giants, Bigley. I don't know about Bigley, but they win that game. Denver, well, we'll get to Denver, Philly. Dallas at New Jersey Jets. Jets are 2.5-point dogs. You know what? Just for the fun of it, Jets beat Dallas outright. We're going back-to-back outrights from the Jersey teams. The Jets and the Giants both win. Phil's predictions voice very good today. Thank you. Thank you. Any Stone Cold locks? I don't know if I'm going to say the Colts covering against the Raiders. That's a Stone Cold lock in my opinion. Dolphins at Panthers. Panthers are 1.5-point dogs. We're going with another outright. Carolina Panthers get the win over the Dolphins. Texans, 1.5-point favorite on the road over the Lamar Jackson list Baltimore Ravens. Texans cover and win that game at -1.5. Titans at Cardinals. Cardinals 7.5-point favorites. Cardinals win that game as well. Outright. You got to use that outright, voice right there. Phil going for the YouTube shorts today. Yeah, sometimes. Outright. You got to have the right voice for outright. I don't know how that's coming across with the mic. Maybe I got to turn outright. I don't know which angle I got to do to make it sound the best. I like the Panthers this week. I do. Cardinals game. All right, Bucks. Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel out west to the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks are 3.5-point favorites. Bucks coming off a tough loss to the Eagles. I'm going to go Seattle winning and covering that game. Bucks going a 2-game losing streak. Detroit Lions at the Jake Browning-led Cincinnati Bengals. Detroit's a monster 10.5-point favorite in this game. I think Detroit covers. Detroit's going to smoke Cincinnati and continue to be the Eagles' biggest threat to get back to the Super Bowl. Washington Commanders getting back Jaden Daniels. Still without Debo. At the LA Chargers, 2.5-point game. I haven't predicted that one yet on my sheet. Point right at the camera. for your outright, making sure the Cowboys getting whooped. Dallas Cowboys at New York Jets. Jets, 2.5-point dogs. I'm predicting the Jets to beat the Cowboys outright, not just cover. There you go, Matt Chatter. I don't feel confident with the Phillies. I mean, Mitchie Poo, you are valid in saying that. I've been not 100% confident all year with the Phillies. It's all about the playoffs. We knew they were a great baseball team, but they've been a great baseball team for 4 years now. They haven't gotten the job done. Will they be on a parallel line with the Eagles? We'll find out. But they've got to prove it. They've not proven anything yet. They've got to prove it starting on Saturday. And that's why it's so critical to get game one. Washington at Chargers. Chargers 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to go Chargers. Cover that one there. We'll get to Sunday Night Football in a second. Outright. How many times are you going to make me say outright? Let's go. Let's do it. Guys, if you haven't, like, share, subscribe. Por favor, please. We got about 25 minutes left. New England Patriots on Sunday Night Football at the Buffalo Bills in the whiteout, right? Bills are 8.5-point favorites. Man Chatter, I hate to tell you this. The Bills are going to win the game, but they are not covering the 8.5-point spread. Patriots cover, but the Bills win a close one on Sunday Night Football. I got you, K1. I got you. Got a little outright eye contact on that one right there. I'm going to outright contact with your eyes right now. So there are my predictions for the NFL slate on Sunday. You know what? I'm going to give you my Monday Night Football prediction because we won't be doing a Monday morning show. Maybe I'll go live for Trending in the PM Sunday night. Maybe I'll do that at like 8 o'clock at night on Sunday. We'll see how I feel after doing the watch party because we will have the Eagles versus Broncos watch party live on the channel about 12:50 again on Sunday. Chiefs at Jaguars on Monday Night Football. Jags are 3.5-point dogs in that game. I think the Chiefs win that game and cover the 3.5-point spread pretty easily. All right. Hunter Green and Corbin Carroll have pretty good deals. Are they performing at Cy Young MVP levels like Christopher Sanchez? I don't know if they're at that level. Like, legitly, Chris Sanchez is $4 million, I think, is his contract this year. The dude has a legit chance to finish in the top 3 of Cy Young voting. Arguably could win it. The Pats always seem to pull out an upset on the Bills when you least expect it. I'll go Pats for shits and giggles. I just think it's a tough division game. Sunday Night Football, all the eyes on it. The Bills didn't cover last week, the big spread. The Patriots are a better team than they were last year. I think it's going to be a 3 or 4 point, like it's going to be a 34-30 type game. It just screams 34-30, 31-28, something like that. And I think the Bills are going to continue with the Eagles to be the undefeated teams of the NFL for at least one more week. But the Patriots are going to give them fits. They are. I always talk about how Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts will never let the Eagles go on like a big losing streak, right? Well, Mike Vrabel's developing that same kind of identity with the Patriots. While he's not as good of a coach, Mike Vrabel's not going to let his Patriots team get blown out by a division rival. Exactly. That's why I said 34-30 as a game score right there. I heard Phil is starting an OnlyFans account called Delco in the PM. No. I'm not in Delco. I'm in Coatesville. I'm from Delco, but I'm not in Delco. Although once you leave Delco, you can't take the Delco out of a Delco kid. For sure, I just have to have an oddball game, and that's my pick. The Pats are known to be a pain in the ass sometimes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we always talk about the NFC East, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Giants, and how they always play each other. No matter how good or bad the teams are, they always play tough. The same thing happens in the AFC East, right? The Bills, the Patriots, the Jets, the Dolphins, they always play each other tough, no matter how bad the teams are. Starting Henderson this week. Yeah. 3-1 in my one lone fantasy football league. Coatesville is the better school district from what Coatesville is not. I don't know if it's a good school district or not, but it's not as good as Chester County, Unionville, which is basically where I really am. I can't believe we already into bye weeks. I know we're already in the week 5. We're already a third of the way through the season, K1. It's crazy, right? I don't know why they even bother having a D. Well, you got to put somebody out there. You're not True Delco without a Franklin Mint Credit Union account. I used to have when I went to Holy Cross, they used to give us those little cards. You put the coins in them and stuff like that. Dude, I'm a Delco kid, but I moved out of Delco when I was like 14, 15 years old. All right? Like, I've been 30 years out of Delco, like 14 years in Delco. I grew up out of Delco, but I'm still Delco in the heart, right? In the heart, I'll always be Delco. That's why I wear that Delco shirt that Big Al gave me all the time. On this air here, on this show here. All right, Eagles, Phillies, prediction time. You know what? Let's start with my Eagles prediction, okay? I'm not going to lie. I wrote down 2 predictions that are Broncos wins. But then I settled on a specific score. Maybe some of you saw my short that I put from the Eagles check down about my prediction. I'm going the Eagles win this football game 27-26. And it's going to be a close, hard-fought battle. The Eagles are going to come away with the win because they're the more talented team. They're the more experienced team. I'm just happy it's going fast because soon I'll be in Lambeau and I'm going to feel like Rudy walking into Notre Dame Stadium. I love that. I love that. I see Jihaad Dotson having a big catch in a big moment of this game. 40, 45-yard pass down the field, right? I see the defense making a big play, forcing a turnover at a critical time. 27-26, Eagles win. They do not cover, but they win this football game. Close game. That's where I'm going on this game here. Worked in Delco for about 12 years of my life, 7 at the Airport Business Center and 5 in Newtown Square. How many tush pushes on Sunday? I don't know, Mitchie Poo. But I did see, and I shared it out on Twitter, maybe you saw it, the NFL official Twitter account highlighting and promoting the great tush push that Mac Jones run last night. So it's only okay to be critical of a play if the Eagles do it. But when another team does it successfully, let's praise it, right? There was a lot of pushing of Mac Jones's tushing last night on that play. I think I'm overrating the Broncos. I may be. But see, the thing is, I'm not overrating the Broncos. Maybe I'm overrating how the Broncos defensive line will give our struggling offensive line trouble on Sunday. We can't block. Our guys are hurt. They do a great job of getting pressure on a quarterback. That's the key right there. Can we block just enough to win the football game? That's why I've got it going close. It's not that I think the Broncos are a great team. It's not like I think the Broncos are more talented. Just what we struggle at the most right now is what their strengths are. 3.5 points is tough. And it came down. So it was originally a 5.5 point spread when it opened, Duck, on Monday. And then it's come down, telling me that too many bettors were betting the Broncos to cover or the Eagles not to cover. So they lowered it to try to get Eagles fans or people to bet the Eagles. So the line movement tells me that they think it's going to be a super close game. I got reasons. I always have reasons. Reasons for hurricane seasons. They hate Philly. That is why they don't like it. Exactly. Everybody hates us. Plain and simple. I find it funny that everyone else does the tush push is praised, but we who do it very well are villainized. Exactly. I'm sure the announcers weren't criticizing it last night in the game. We will most likely be in a slugfest until after the bye. We just need to deal with that. I mean, after this week, we do have the Giants twice and the Vikings. I don't know if they'll be slugfest per se, but maybe. Listen, man, these guys are way too talented to let another year like 23 happen again. I feel like this week we get our shit together. 32-17 Eagles. Offense will go ham watch. That's possible. And I agree. I hate everybody that keeps saying, well, this is just like the 23 season. It's not. All right. We talked about it earlier in the week. There are so many differences between the 23 season and the 25 Eagles. So many differences, right? It's Mac Jones. That's true. Mac Jones does need any help he can get, for sure. They even criticized the tush-push wrinkle we ran as unfair to the other team. Exactly. Well, we're all geared up to stop the tush-push. How can you run something else? They just hate us. I don't even know if the league hates the Eagles. The league, I think, loves the Eagles. They love to hate the Eagles because hating on the Eagles equals more clicks, more views, more content, more money. Okay? Purdy and Rappaport, 49ers defensive tackle Davis, part of an unheralded San Francisco defensive front. He gets pressure, will undergo surgery today, repair a broken hand. That relates to the Eagles, 0. The 49ers, you know what, man, props them. Banged up, missing multiple starters, went out there and beat what I thought was a great Rams team. Let me tell you something. After last night's loss, the Rams at home on Thursday Night Football, home teams rarely lose on Thursday Night Football. You can't beat the 49ers with all those players. The Rams are out of my top 10 power rankings. Guaranteed. How the F is a fake off tush push unfair? Yeah, exactly. Because you hate the Eagles. Everyone hates winners, and right now we're the winners, so we're the most hated. It comes with winning. Exactly. You got to deal with it. You got to deal with it. It's better than the opposite, right? Yeah, Mitchie Pooh's trying to get his Adam Schefter career going with that post in there, right? At least when Mad Chatter does it, it's unreadable. At least Mitchie Pooh made it very readable when he put a breaking news thing on there. At least I was able to understand what he had to say right there. Hold on a second, guys. What's going on? Oh, never mind. Anyway. All right, now on to the Phillies prediction. All right. 4th and 1. Can't get 1 yard. Well, the Eagles can. They can get 2 yards. Phillies, Dodgers final prediction. All right. I'm still torn on this. Real quick before Phillies. BJ Edgecombe was fun to watch yesterday. I put the Sixers game on at the pizza shop on NBA TV because I get NBA TV on YouTube TV at the shop, right? Sometime around halftime, I was watching the first half of the game in between making orders. Then all of a sudden, I got a pop-up on my screen saying it was blocked in my area, and I couldn't get it off. So at some point halfway through the game, NBA TV decided to block the game in Philadelphia. And I don't get that. I don't know if that happened to anybody else. Mitchie Pooh's breaking news goes really good together. Yeah. Mitchie Pooh's breaking news. Exactly. So I don't know. I couldn't watch the second half of the game last night. If one thing when the refs are helping you every second, it's another thing when you have 609 pounds squatting quarterback, you can't say he's overrated and then say the tush push is not fair. It's exactly. Anyway, Phillies, my prediction on the series, and I'm torn. And I hope I'm not being homerish on saying this. I got the Phillies winning the series. I will say I have it going the full 5 games. The Phillies are going to come out and win on Saturday. Not in a low-scoring game, in a higher-scoring game. I'm going to go Phillies game 1, 7-5. Okay? Phillies come out. The offense stagnant. They're down about 2-0, 3-0, 3-1. And then they get in the Dodgers bullpen. They have a big 6th, 7th inning. Get a lead. They're up about 7-3. Then either Strom or Banks is going to give up some runs. And then Duran's going to have to come in the 9th and close it out. I'm going game 1 win. I'm going game 2 win. Then I see them losing games 3 and 4 to the Dodgers. And them needing a game 5 to win the series. And they are going to pitch Aaron Nola in game 5. And Aaron Nola is going to win this series for the Phillies in game 5. Pitching 5 really strong innings. And then we'll see from there. But I'll go homerish and say Phillies in 5, winning game 1, 7-5. I hope not. I don't know. What are the prop bets out there? Can we do a prop bet on them both hitting a home run in game 1? I wonder what that would be. I wonder what the bet. I mean, I got 10 minutes left. I can read comments and try to Google this really quickly. Fanatics Sportsbook. Dodgers win the first game. It can happen. It can happen. Elephant in the room says we get 5 off of Ohtani. It's possible. It's possible. I'm trying to pull this up real quick. Why won't my phone work? What the hell's happening here? I guess it won't let me look at the odds unless I log in on my phone, the app. Here we go. Logging into my DraftKings account real quick, guys. All right. MLB. There's the Phillies game right there. Bets. Home run. Schwarber. Oh, nope, I hit 2. I don't want 2. A Schwarber home run and an Ohtani home run in game 1, K1. You parlay 1+ home run for both. It's 13-1. They're offering me a 10% profit boost to get a 14.3-1. It's actually not a crazy bet right there. 13-1 on those two guys? That might be a worthy place of a fiver or something like that. Yesterday was International James Bond Day, was it? Bond. James Bond. I missed that. Tomorrow's International Napoleon Day. That's the day elephant in the room. Napoleon the movie or Napoleon the real person? For sure. For sure. Anyway. Oh, it's Sunday as Dr. No anniversary. Dr. No is extremely underrated James Bond movie, the original. The real original. Not the original, the real original. I actually love Dr. No. As a big James Bond fan. Love them all, but yeah. What is Jim sending me a picture of? Never mind. I can't say that on the air. Napoleon, that's, yeah. K1 is Napoleon Day just for short people. Yes, and I don't qualify as a 6'2" man. I do not qualify as a short person. All right, so again, to recap, I got Eagles winning 27-26. I got Phillies winning game 1, 7-5. Most of the runs coming against the Dodgers bullpen. I got the Phillies winning in 5 in this series. They're the predictions. That's what I got. I covered all my notes. I covered everything. So the final 7 minutes of this show, it's a free-for-all. Whatever you want to say, you can say it. It's only the movie. If only the movie was short. Yeah, exactly. You got some real hate. By the way, speaking of things, I finally finished Better Call Saul last night. And I got to say, it was a good show. But my generalized speaking on Better Call Saul, there are people that say it's a great follow-up to Breaking Bad. Some people say it's as good as Breaking Bad. I see a few people saying it's better than Breaking Bad. Better Call Saul will never come close to my top 10 TV shows of all time list. It never will. It was a good show. I don't hate it like Elephant hates the Napoleon movie and Ridley Scott. But man, it was barely a good show. It was all right. Napoleon was not short at 5'7" in his day and age. Huh? I thought he was short, supposedly. The cartel whacked him. No, he didn't. No way. There are people out there I've seen as I've been tweeting K1 about my journey through this show that's saying, oh, it'll get better. It's a great show. It's as good. Some people say it's better. No. Not even close. Like, I wouldn't even put it on the same level as, say, like Mad Men or Sons of Anarchy or 24. Like, not at all. Not even close, honestly, at this point. I really can't do it. Can't put it up there. Trying to find. Thought I sent something, and I'm trying to find it. Guess I can't find it. Damn. Anyway. Suns and 24 were great shows. Absolutely. Muchas gracias, Brian. We'll see you Monday. Just after 11, I'll be there. Don't you worry. It's not. No kidding, Duck. Duck is correct. Folks were shorter. Absolutely, they were. Better Call Saul, I will say there were points where I thought it was almost as good, but towards the end it fizzled. It kind of picked up the action later on. But yeah, I really didn't. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. Michigan Panthers star Malik Turner was moved up to active roster. Cool. I like Better Call Saul more than Sons of Anarchy or Mayans. Well, Mayans is terrible. Sons of Anarchy, no way. Sons of Anarchy is a top 10 show all time. 100% top 10 show of all time. Nothing will ever beat Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad's not even my top 3. Breaking Bad's my number 4 show of all time. But yeah, Sons of Anarchy, they are 2 go-to shows of all time. Stallions champion Adrian Martinez was so close to going in for Mac Jones. Who? Who are the Stallions? The Italian Stallions? Are you talking about the Italian Stallions? Is that what you're talking about? I don't know. Anyway, trying to find something, but couldn't find it. Oh well. What is your top 5? Well, I didn't want to. So I have something that I do. All right. I don't think of shows as top 5, top 10. What I do is I think of shows in the sense of there's groups. Okay. There's groups. There's the top 3 shows of all time. Depending on my mood, which one is one. Okay. It's The Sopranos, it's The Wire, and it's The Americans. They are my top 3 shows of all time. Depending on the day, which one goes number 1, which one goes number 2. That's always the way it'll be for me. Okay. Always my top 3. Okay. That will never change those as my top 3. Okay. Now, I will say, after that, you've got the next batch of shows. You've got Mad Men. You got Breaking Bad. You've got Sons of Anarchy. You've got 24. You've got a lot of really good shows in that next level of shows. All right? Just not elite, but they're really close. Then you've got shows in that 7 through 10 category, shows that were great but had horrible final seasons. House of Cards, Mad Men, shows that were great but just didn't finish right. Ray Donovan, The Shield is criminally underrated. I've never watched it. Maybe that'll be the next show. We're going to do Prison Break next because we never watched that, but maybe. Yeah, no. I've been in houses from the 17th century or 1700s before, so they are smaller. I had a list. I had put together a list, and I don't want to mess my list up here. I can't find it now. I don't know why my phone's not opening my notes right now. Anyway, time to wrap this baby up, I think. Phillies win. Eagles win. Sunday night, if I do a trending in the PM, maybe, if I feel like it, we'll be celebrating a bunch of victories. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm banking on. No show Monday morning. Back in the mornings on Tuesday. Unfortunately, Monday morning, I'll be busy with Mr. Brian O'Rourke from the chat, whooping some ass, going 14 under in a golf tournament, if I hope and I wish. But anyway, that's what I got. Yeah, it was a great week this week. No new subscribers yet today. Got to hope for a big day on great shorts from this show. And I think the chat was very, very good today in the sense where we should get some good shorts out of this show here today. Only 13 likes, even though there's 18 votes on the poll today. I wish that would be cool if I could stream the round. That would be pretty funny. Maybe I'll get Brian to take some recordings of me swinging my 7-iron or my driver to put up a couple little shorts of the outing. If you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I'll post some pictures as well. But yeah, I don't know how I would stream an entire round like that. That'd be interesting. That would be very interesting if I did that. Just get my camera on live and just hook it on my golf cart to follow me around the course. That would be actually pretty interesting. That would also be muted a lot because of some curse words. Final poll results. Very easy on the poll results here today, Adam. 67% of the people voted yes. Phillies and Eagles both win this weekend. And then 11% was the vote on all 3 other options. Just the Phillies, just the Eagles, neither. It was a very simple one. It was a good week of shows. There's some hiccups a couple times this week, but a good week of shows. Back on Sunday for the live watch party at about 12:50. Maybe a show on Sunday night, and then back to the morning show on Tuesday, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. Have a great weekend, whatever you do. I normally say go Birds, but we got to say go Birds, go Phillies. And bubbles up.